Yeah, hi folks. Now in a moment I'll continue with the Lee Williams Maori Party saga, but first I need to clarify something. In my last video I posted a document which I thought was the same one as what lawyer Liz Lambert and Grant Edwards were discussing on his podcast, but as it turns out it wasn't the same one. And later on in this video I'll explain in more detail how I made that mistake. Now having said that, the document I posted was also very damning. Anyway, today I'll start this off with Simon O'Connor and Elliot O'Keefe.
The issue here, it seems, is, and Elliot, I'll start with you. It seems now that any time that someone disagrees with or raises questions, they're now just being called a racist.
Yes, it's race hustling 101. Basically, if you want someone to shut up, you just call them a racist if you have to be the same color. Fortunately, I happen to cover a couple of intersectional points, so it doesn't really work on me. So I can say that what they are engaging in is apartheid. They want to implement apartheid into New Zealand.
Now, Elliot is talking about the Maori Party there.
Now, apartheid, of course, we're not talking about putting white people into hovels and the sort of grotto areas. We're talking about white people basically being pushed outside of situations of power, basically splitting up by structures of systematic privilege, I suppose. And so when you look at the co-governance structures, you look at the stripping away of people's rights to speak out against the Māori wards being force-fed upon them, the angling towards a self-governance structure, an entirely new parliament and governance outside of New Zealand government.
Yeah, now he seems to be talking about what Liz is talking about.
We won't go into hip hop, yes, I hear that. But effectively what they are seeking is apartheid. And I'll tell you what I also saw was someone who's also jumping on the race hustling bandwagon, which was, Tuiono Tiano. I think that's the guy. He's trying to seek some relevance. He's trying to find his own little place in Parliament. I noticed he followed Debbie and Rawiri out the door as if to sort of, I don't know, give his strength or tautoko or something like that. But effectively, they're just engaging in racism themselves and calling everyone else racist. They're racist. They're just jumping into race hustling. The best way to do it, don't apologise for it. Don't apologise for being white or Chinese.
Exactly, and you most certainly won't see Lee Williams doing that.
Don't apologise for any of it. Just keep speaking the arguments and just go through. Don't apologise for any of it. Don't give them what they want.
Simon, does this feel, you're on the receiving end of this, your party is a lot. Are you frustrated? It seems to me there's a little bit of a media who are willingly enabling this kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, unfortunately so. I think Elliot's right in terms of how we deal with it, which is you just keep speaking rationally into the discussion. And, Judith Collins, the National Party in this case, has every right to raise questions. If you don't like our questions, that's fine. If you do, that's fine. But trying to shut them down is not particularly helpful. 3 quick points. One, the Maori Party were not kicked out for doing a haka.
No.
Misreporting.
Is that right? There you go.
That's highly surprising.
Yeah, so the implication is that they were doing some, form of a haka and kicked out. They were already been kicked out because of other behaviours. And you know what? I don't mind a bit of theatre in the House. If they want to do that, go for it. Don't really care. Secondly, they only represent some Maori. So to try and say that they represent Māori is quite wrong.
Exactly.
A number of Maori that I know, I'm sure all of us through our respective friends and family would go, well, hold on, they don't speak for them. But look at it this way, racism as a word has become a useful tool to shut people up. Used to be I'm offended. Then when around the time Trump was elected, it became, I'm afraid, I'm scared. And now they've realised, the progressive left in particular, that racism is it's just one of those words which just sets people off. No one likes being called a racist. And so they deploy it left, right and centre. all the time, and it's got to be pushed back on.
Now, this guy should be the leader of the National Party.
I think, is it Jamay? I might be saying your name, or Jamie? Jamay? I think it's Jamay says the cowboy hat is cultural appropriation. Well, you know, if we're all going to be playing this game, then yeah, it probably is, unfortunately.
Yeah, but this is one of the simplest things. The philosopher in me comes out. One of the simplest things people can do is look for consistency.
Yeah.
And so chosen to wear a Stetson cowboy hat from America. Now, personally don't care. Probably looks good in it. But, you know, you can't run around screaming racism and people are appropriating his language and traditions, and then he goes and does the same. So,
yes. And talking about cultural appropriation, wow, look at these culturally sensitive hypocrites. I didn't know they were Maori. Where's Waititi? Oh, here he is. Now, I wonder if he's going to mention cultural appropriation.
He honore he kroria ki te atua he maunga rongo ki te whenua he whakaro pai ki ngā tāngata katoa. Āmen. Tangihia rā ngā mate putu o te wā. Rātau te hunga wairua ko riro tītapu ki te pō. Whātu rā koutou i runga i te ara kōrero ko parange te tine e te manu. Hoake koutou ki tua rei tū, ki tua rei au, ki te huinga o te kahurangi, ki te kahui matariki. Koutou e te hunga oki oki. Haere, haere, whakangaro atura. Tēnā tātou e hika mā, tēnā tātou e te whare. Te ati awa, te mana whenua o tēnei wāhi, karanga mai, mihi mai, whakatau maira. Ahu mai rangi te maunga whakahi e tū mai nei, e tū, e tū, e tū. Te moana e haruru nei, te whanganui a tara, papaki maira, papaki maira, papaki maira. Tēnā koe e te pika. E pupuri nei i te mauri o tēnei whare. Ngā mihi nui ki a koe. E ngā mema o te pare mate.
Apparently not. But how would I know? I don't understand a word he is talking about, and nor do the other 97% of New Zealanders. Now, folks, that is the very definition of racism. So you can see where Lee gets his humour from.
Oh, hello there, it's Maori Waititi. And did you see me in the parliament yesterday? I didn't get my own way, and I disturbed Judith Collins. I did it a few times. I stood up when she went to speak because I didn't show respect, and I wear my hat in parliament all the time, and no one will say nothing to me because I'm a Maori, and I show no respect to these pakeha because I'm a pakeha in New Zealand, all racist. And so I just don't show any respect, and the only reason I'm in parliament is because I failed the tests to get in the mongrel mob, and so I got all the tattoos on my face, even though I've just washed them off. I got all the tattoos on my face, and I said to the Maori Party, oh, can you let me in the Maori Party? And they said, what's your qualifications? And I said, well, I got all my tattoos on my face, and I call everybody racist, and all the pakeha in New Zealand, they're all effing racist, And the Maori Party said, oh yeah, mate, oh yeah, hey bro, you can join our Maori Party, and you can go in parliament, but on one condition, you've got to say the word racist in every sentence, And I said, oh yeah, I can do that because I'm highly qualified in that, And when I don't get my own way, I break out into a haka. I break into haka and say,
Yeah, now that's exactly what I hear when someone speaks Maori. And even Billy TK gets it.
They've all done the same thing, but I want to say I stand with Lee and I defend his right to say what he says. I do not believe personally he's a white supremacist. I believe he's completely uninformed and ignorant about he whakaputanga, but that doesn't make the guy a bad person. And even if he was a white supremacist, he has the right to hold his views without getting his job taken off him. He doesn't do this in his work time. He doesn't do this with Sinlay's shirt on. The irony of it is, it's become a situation where his employer's involved because everyone else has made it so. They found out where he's working and they're having a go at him. And the other thing I want to point out is that this leftist, communist, socialist media that's driving the hate and fear message about Lee, right, also has an MP helping it along. Now this is a post on the change.org petition that they're leading against Lee so that he loses his job. And it is unbelievable that a sitting MP would wish to get involved with this. I don't care if she's a Maori, I don't care if she's a Martian or an African. She is a member of the House of Representatives. She should not be advocating any blinking person to lose their job. This is what she says, "Tautoko mai whānau, let's show this racist exactly how we feel. Stop racism." Look, racism is not good, we all know that. But what she's doing is equally as indigestible as racism itself. She is using her power to try and stop someone from having free access to free speech. He's not saying go out and bomb somebody. He's not saying go get an AK-47 and go and shoot people. He's not doing any of that.
Yeah, exactly. And inciting violence is the only restriction on free speech.
He's saying what he thinks he understands about he puapua. He's got, the irony of it is, he puapua is a fake hijacked document of a he whakaputanga. It's a lie. And it's gonna make people who don't understand it's a lie and why it's a lie respond like Lee. But the fact is, whether that's the situation or not, he has a right to have his own personal beliefs. And this member of parliament is coming out and trying to use her influence to stop this guy from having his free speech. And they're trying to get him on top of that to lose his income for which he provides for his family. I'm angry about it, whānau. It's not about me. It's not even about Lee. It is about the principle of what we are fighting here. It's free speech for all, or it's free speech for no one.
Yes, so true. But let's not forget who this guy is and who he associates with.
Seal of the Attorney General seal, then there's the Minister for Security and Defence seal, and then there's the Minister for Justice seal. So it looks like Stace is the Minister for Justice for the Confederation of Chiefs of the United Tribes of New Zealand, of Aotearoa, NZ.
Right. Yeah.
So they want to take us back under this 1835 one, but with a bit of a twist to it.
Well, I don't know, because they sort of have cut the 1835 out of it, I suppose, although if they're saying they've got a constitution, who knows what that is. Possibly it's that thing that's come out that's called Hei Puapua, which
is... The seal has got the United Tribes flag, and it says established 1835, Aotearoa NZ on each of those seals.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, well, I guess that's right. That's where we're supposed to be under, with some sort of maritime flag.
Only we use the English common law.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's hard to say, with a bit of a native twist by the look of things.
Okay.
So then we get to the page that I think is most interesting.
Yeah. Now, folks, this is where I got confused, because this document, the one I posted last week, has exactly the same signatures as Liz talks about from her document. Now, as it turns out, the signatures on my document are just there for evidence purposes, and I didn't realise that.
The whole lot, because on one side we've got Michael Stace signs again. And these are all on the 22nd of the 12th. So it's all done on one day. Then we've got Michelle Jeanette Hood. We've got Paula Ludwicki. We've got someone called, I can't quite make out that name. Then we've got Tiahine Wharekura Kingi, who is, she was sidekick to Billy Tikahika in the what you call it party, NZPP party.
Yeah.
And of course Michael Stace was his sidekick as well. Michael Stace, if they had got elected, they've got party vote, then Michael Stace and known to the police, it was with many other names, and people like Billy TK and I don't think Tiahine was a candidate, but they'd be running the show, jumping up and down.
Yes, they'd be hijacking the political system and taking over our country.
Like the Maori Party is at the moment.
Right.
So, and we've got somebody called Kumuroa, because they've got, you can't quite read it because they've got their thumbprints over the top.
Over the top.
Somebody, I think so Vicky Odell is the other person. And then we've got the most important, in my view, is how the government has reacted to this. So we've got Anthea Williams, Treasury Solicitor, right? Now, she's a real person.
And she's signed?
Yes, she is signed.
That's her signature.
She's signed on the state.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got Gregory Bourne, which was the guy who's the Governor General's private secretary, and he signed and full. And then we've got an initial for the Prime Minister's office of JC. Now, at first glance, it's like, who's JC? But if you know that Jacinda Ardern's other name, or name that she seems to be using in this case, is Krisky, C-R-I-S-C-I is how you spell it.
C-R-I-S...
C-I.
C-I, Krisky. What does that mean?
That's a family name that could be claimed by her father and uncle.
Okay.
Because their father was not Jacinda's grandfather. I don't know what his first name was, George, I think, or something like that. Dern. There was the twins. They are were not his children, but they've been brought up as a Dern and they've taken that name. But Krisky is also associated with a New York crime family. So that bears a lot of further investigation. So that's the whole document that actually hands over our country
to a group of Maoris.
Yeah, to this
Three Maoris, really, isn't it? And an American ex-con.